Earlier this year I bought one of the cheapest Ford Rangers I could find with the intention of doing it up as a promotional vehicle for my clothing brand Oddity Activewear. Throughout spring and summer I documented the process with several videos on this channel, and this is the final result. I can't believe I've just recorded a whole walk-around video and then realised it weren't even recording. So let's start again. Right, so let's start from the front and work our way back, and hopefully this blisteringly cold wind that's pounding my face won't cause havoc with the microphone and end up having to do a voiceover anyway. Well, the wind noise did cause havoc with this recording, so here's that voiceover I inevitably had to make. So I guess the first thing to talk about is this Raptor style body kit. This probably adds about 3 to 4 inches of extra chunkiness to the sides. If you imagine where the original wing comes to, then you've got the wide arches plus the extra arch extensions. That all came as a full kit comprising of the front wings, these little pods under the light, the grille and a Raptor style bumper, which I've not used but I'll come back to that later. And the 2 rear bed sides, which needed a decent amount of bodywork to be fitted, thanks to the guys at Spraytech for sorting those. Where the fronts were full replacement wings, these rears are bond-on panels that stuck over the original body, and what's worse, they had been badly trimmed from the factory. Here in particular there was as much as a finger's width gap, but you'd never know now it's been perfectly blended in. So back to the front bumper. I didn't use the one that was supplied in the kit because I'd already set my sights on this aftermarket steel bumper from Option 4-wheel drive. This is the Option X bumper for the Ranger Raptor, which was now compatible since I had the Raptor style kit fitted. It took some aligning, and while it still does look a little bit gappy, that's actually what they look like on the genuine Raptors too. But it looks really cool as a big chunky steel bumper, and it has recovery points too that I can attach shackles to if I ever need pulling out of a ditch. It also has a winch mount in there, but that's just my number plate holder for now. Whether I do actually get a winch in the future depends on how much off-roading I end up doing. Another feature I love about this bumper is the gap for a 32-inch light bar. This is actually just an unbranded one I got as a bargain off eBay called Light Bar. But this exact model of light bar is rebranded by Hella and a couple of other companies, all of which have good reviews, so the quality is up there. I've been really happy with it too. Here's some footage I have of it lighting up a little woodland track compared to the main beams and full beam. The genuine Ranger Raptors actually have 2 recovery points that poke out of these gaps, so what I've done is mount some steady lights which are just the right dimensions, then cut these perspex windows to size to create some amber spotlights. Then the grille also looks pretty beefy with the classic Ford lettering. The headlights are another aftermarket upgrade for the front of the vehicle. These are actually quite rare. I haven't found anywhere in the UK that sells these models. I just know of 1 or 2 guys on the Ranger Facebook groups that have them. Usually it's the Predator or Bugatti style with the 3 light pods in a row, rather than 4 like this, which are known as Porsche style by the places around the world that do sell them. To me they look more like Kia's headlight design, but I'll go with Porsche instead. I guess the main thing to talk about is the Raptor paintwork. This is RAL 7006 Beige Grey, done by the guys at Spraytech. So this is a textured scratch-proof paint, essentially bedliner but in different colours. You can also spray it in different textures, so the main body is done in a moderate texture, the black bumpers and wheel arch extensions are done in a heavier texture, then the grille and other black trim like the mirrors and door handles are done in a smooth texture. It's been great not having to worry about dragging it past bushes and branches that might scratch normal paintwork. I haven't even had to wash it yet. So moving back slightly, we've got the wheels and tyres. These are 17x10 fuel shocks. I had to go with the 10-inch width to get the offset I needed to go with the wider Raptor kit, which is minor to 18, and even then I had to add some 35mm spacers. As a result, the tyres are not stretched as such, but they don't have as much bulge as I would have liked. In hindsight I might have been better off with 33x12.5s, whereas these are 285/70/17s, but then that seriously limited the selection. But this sizing isn't uncommon. I found plenty of people running this combo in the US and Australia, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more meatiness on the sidewall. The tyres I went for are these Kumo MT51s, which are a nice balance between price and good ratings. I've been really happy with them, although I've never had any other mud terrains to compare them with. Reviews say that they're good for road noise, and I don't really notice anything major, Maybe a subtle drone that comes in at 50 miles per hour but fades out above that, especially when it's drowned out by wind and general engine noise anyway. And during the tiny bit of soft roading I've done so far, they've performed pretty well. If you have a peek underneath, you can see the Pedder's Track Rider suspension. This has vastly improved the ride, and I love driving down bumpy country lanes, just floating over everything. They're also paired with the option 4-wheel drive upper control arms. These weren't really needed because the Pedder's kit provides just under a 2-inch lift, but I wanted them just because they look cool with a little bit of red showing under the wheel arches. Moving back slightly, you can see the branding and graphics Spraytech have added as part of the respray. These aren't vinyl stickers, it's all stenciled into the Raptor paintwork. These are also done in that smooth texture to contrast against the rougher beige texture. Then the excuse to do all this was to make it a promotional vehicle for my clothing brand Odyssey Activewear, so the logo sits proudly in a few places. There's not too much to show you on the inside, there's just a bit of camo wrapping, which was one of my first little mods. This is the limited model, which means you get the plain black leather seats as opposed to the orange cloth of the Wildtrak model. So I was purposely looking out for a limited model for that reason. I would have liked a standard diff lock. This has only got a blanking button, but on the pre-2019 model it was an optional extra even on the Wildtraks, so they are quite rare. But I have given myself the option for the future by reserving a spot in my steady switch panel for if I ever fancy getting a little compressor and aftermarket diff lock installing. Again, depending on how much off-roading I get into. These other switches are all for the various lights I've added, the light bar, amber spotlights, and then the rear cube lights I'll show you in a moment. This is a custom steering wheel done by Royal Steering Wheels. I had the same done on my Mustang except with a flat bottom, which turned out to be one of my favourite mods because it's something you can actually appreciate while driving. I spec this one with a slightly thicker girth, mixture of smooth and perforated leather, and the thumb grips. So that's about it for the interior. The previous owner had the windows tinted. While it's lifted on these rocks, you can see the Pedder's leaf springs. These are the improved ride models, plus the cool looking red shocks. If you remember earlier in the year, I cleaned it all up under there and lano guarded it all. It's all looking a little bit dirtier these days, but it's holding up well. And funnily enough, out of this entire build series, that has turned out to be the most popular video. One more upgrade I might look into in the future is some more bash guards under there, again depending on how much off-roading I do. But I already christened it with a bit of a bump on this little stretch of byway. So moving towards the rear, the biggest modification is the steel canopy. I'm really happy with this. It completely transforms it and makes it much more practical than a shallow bed. This canopy is quite popular in Australia, so I got to read multiple reviews about it, plus the equivalent, which is sold by a company in the UK. A common issue that's been reported is that they become tarnished and rust easily, which is why I got mine Raptored along with everything else, which will hopefully future-proof it. I added plenty of Sikaflex to all the joints, which has helped to make it fully watertight. And here's a look at my setup inside. I did actually get some bins that fit behind these side doors that actually give them more of a purpose by having a handy storage compartment when it's flipped up. But they took up too much space on the inside that I need for carrying boxes of stock. Here's my solution for carrying my traction boards on these hooks mounted to the inside of the doors, but I need to rethink these slightly because they swing back and forth and bang on the sides when I'm driving along rough stuff like this. Another cool addition is these swing out storage boxes. These are really handy for organising things like a spare coat and hat in case of emergencies, straps, gloves, etc. I often have my mountain bike in here fastened down using a fork mount on a plank of 2x4 that sits across here. I have it sat with the front about here and the back wheel in the corner. It's not quite long enough to fit it straight in. But I did also recently add a tow bar to carry my tow bar bike rack, although I have been opting just to carry it in the bike because the bike rack does add a fair bit of extra length on an already pretty long vehicle. So this bumper is the option 4-wheel drive Fighter rear bumper, also Raptor coated. This bumper also comes with these built-in cube lights, one of which is hooked up to that switch panel inside. Then on the other side, because these aftermarket rear lights don't have a fog light, I added a piece of red perspex to this one to turn it into a fog light, which is wired in via the tow bar loom. Talking about tow bars, this bumper actually comes with the American style 2-inch receiver hole, but the tow bar that I bought didn't fit because the hole wasn't deep enough for the retaining pin to line up. So instead I bought a NATO style hitch, which bolts into these 4 holes. It's not easily removable, which is a shame, but it does look quite cool with it being a style of hitch used on military vehicles. So that's pretty much it for a full walk around. If this is the first video of mine you've seen, you can go back and watch the full build process. Hopefully I'll carry on making videos of this truck as I explore more green lanes and maybe do a bit more off-roading. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.